So welcome again, everybody, to our town hall about virtual learning. I will go through some informational pieces, and then any questions can go in the chat. We'll try to answer them as quickly as possible, or I'll just go answer them. Even if you send them privately to me, I will just, other parents may have the same question, and I'll go ahead and answer them just to everybody. We're just leaving names out. All right, so first off, I'd like to share the screen. I would like to be able to show you tonight. Hold up, let me get back here on our virtual presentation. So here we go. All right, so right now we're going to go over our virtual kind of learning a parent's guide to virtual this evening. All right, make sure we mute our microphone. I've got everybody muted, but make sure that we have our microphones muted. All right, outstanding. So just want to go over a few pieces of important information about our schedules and about what we're doing for the the foreseeable future, essentially. All right, so first off is our virtual schedule. Each day, students will attend their advisory class to start the day, just like at Wesleyan. It is no different. At 9:10 each day, our teachers will start their Canvas advisory lesson. Every single day, it doesn't matter what day it is, what classes we have, we're going to start off at 9:10 each day in Canvas, going to our advisory Canvas class. Now, first off, I do want to let you know that some of you are seeing times on your schedule in Canvas, or I'm sorry, in Skyward, that is incorrect. So I'm going to work on fixing those time schedules. That's actually from a very old schedule. We just never really updated the times because when we're in the school building, we actually have bells that kind of control our time period. So I do want to talk a bit about that. So make sure you ignore what the schedule says on Skyward as far as times for those classes. And you're going to want to use this schedule right here. This is our schedule for virtual learning at all 3 middle schools. Okay, so first off, I want to let you know that the schedules for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday are identical. We start each day at 9:10, going to advisory. And for those 4 days, we'll have advisory for half an hour. We will then go to our class 1 or block 1 class, whatever it says 1 on your schedule, that's the class you're going to. So from 9:50 to 10:50, an hour long, we'll have interactive class. And it's going to be very different from last spring. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But you'll have interactive class from 9:50 to 10:50. Then if a teacher feels that they need you for a small group or individual instruction, they're going to keep you in there for their office hours. This is not something like last year. We could just pop in. There's office hours attached to every class, and that's going to be used by teachers for small group time and individual time when the instruction is needed a little more focused, either more focused or just want to go over some concepts with some students. But these 20 minutes are not voluntary for you to drop by. They're time when teachers may keep you after this time to give you some more individualized instruction. We do have 10-minute breaks between each class to give you a chance to, again, use the restroom, stretch your legs. Teachers doing the same here at the building. So just want to make sure of that. Then we go into our block 2, which is going to be 11:20 to 12:20. And on Tuesdays, it's block 6. Again, that's just the number of class that's on your schedule already. So whatever you see a number here for that, so just like know that that's the class you're going to see on your schedule. And then every middle school, so every student in every middle school in the entire district will have their lunchtime between 12:40 and 1:10. So that's kind of everybody's got a half an hour for lunch. And then you're going to go right into block 3 or block 7 for the day from 1:10 to 2:10 p.m. And that's another hour-long class with a 20-minute small group time afterwards. And then our block 4 is 2:40 to 3:40 at the end. And then you have office hours from 3:40 to 4 o'clock. Now, I will tell you, parents, there is a time at the end of the day for parent contact. What will happen is your advisory teacher will call you in case we see a kid not showing up for any classes and going from there. So we'll make sure that we understand that you know that we will be in contact if we don't see or if we missed a couple classes or whatever. We'll be in contact with you just to let you know that each day. On Wednesday, we will run a slightly different schedule. And so students at Wesleyan that were here for 7th and 8th grade kind of understand that. So our advisory is going to be a little longer. Again, it's like a homeroom time from 9:10 to 10:20. We will go ahead and we are having a longer advisory. And that's going to be a time for us to maybe do some group meetings, to maybe meet with by grade level, just to keep everybody connected. And it could be a time too where teachers are giving a little extended time, organizing our Google Drives, organizing where our homework's at, things like that. We still have hour-long classes for this day, and then we only have a 10-minute small group time or a breakout time afterwards. All right, so then there again, lunch is at 1 o'clock to 1:30. On this day, we try to keep these schedules, even though we're a little longer in advisory this day, to keep them as close to being on point as possible. So just want to let you know that this is a schedule, and this schedule will run every 2 weeks. So right now we know, so this Thursday coming up is going to be this schedule right here. And again, we flip every day as an A-B day, but we'll start our advisory on Thursday, 7:30 at 9:10, and we'll end at 9:40, and we'll follow these schedules. And on Friday, we'll follow this one as well. Now, these 2 days are going to be used to get to know you, more introductory information, kind of group norms. And then, but we still want everybody in there. And then starting on Monday, August the 3rd, we'll get right into our 2-week schedule. And I've kind of posted this out all the way through the month of August. Okay. So right now, just want to touch base. Is there any questions about this in particular? I do hear there's a max of 100. That's what we thought from our first one. We did not quite hit that last time, but we are recording this. I'm going to send this out immediately after we are done recording it. So if anybody's trying to get in, let them know that. If they're texting you, we're recording this and sending it out immediately afterwards. So, all right, I'm going to go back to the presentation. And now with the schedule in again, too, ignore your time. I always see this time here than this document I sent out last Friday, and I'll send it out again, or Sunday, and I'll send it again tonight. Do not look on what's on Skyward as far as the times for bell schedules for this. I want to take a minute to talk about Skyward right now. So Skyward is where all of your students' schedules, attendance, and grades are located. And you can access your schedules there now at skyward.mstwt.k12.in.us. We'll be sending out a couple of different Google forms afterwards. So if you don't know your password to this or your username, then we will get that to you so you can see the schedule. And also, too, we'll send out alerts as well when we schedule anything or have to change the schedule for anyone. So we will actually send that out whenever we change schedules, or massively change schedules to a kind of balanced class or anything like that. But for right now, for virtual, I don't believe we'll do too much of that for right now. Again, too, also on Skyward, if you want, and for those of you who have not really checked out Skyward, you can actually get old report cards. You can get all test scores. So going back to every iLearn or iStep you've taken, iRead, NWA tests, those are all on there for you to peruse in the testing section and in the portfolio section. I want to talk a bit about now Canvas. Canvas is going to be the vehicle in which we do all of our online learning for MSDWT. You may hear other terms like Zoom or Google Hangout or whatever, but know this, every single day we are going on Canvas, and that's going to be where every one of our learning is taking place. Okay, so one thing about Canvas is that it's all students will be taking place there each day for advisory and the 4 classes. So if any of your students ever figure out, if your kids ever say, I don't know where to go to Canvas. In fact, I'm going to stop sharing that and show you kind of what Canvas looks like on my screen here. So let me get out of here and go onto, so I'm going to share this. This is what your homepage is going to look like with Canvas after you've logged in. So a student will log in and they'll have announcements here and on their dashboard, and they'll go over here to click on courses, and they will go to all of their classes on there. They'll be listed each day, but make sure that they understand that they're to go to the class that matches up with the period the class is on. Also, too, so one of the nicer pieces on here, so if you're looking on here for when you're on Canvas, parents, did you know that you have a Canvas account as well? And the cool thing about that is that you can go on there and actually observe all of the classes that you want to observe. So you actually be a full participant. You can see what your child has gone on and done, and what they have not done. Okay, so that's all on Canvas. And again, too, everything's taking place out of Canvas. Again, we might hear the term Zoom or Google Meet or anything like that. Everything, though, is going to be out of Canvas for every student. And I cannot stress that enough. Before we get into the questions and answers, I do want to go over our virtual expectations and talking about the differences between last spring and this fall. Okay, first off, students will attend class each day, or they should attend class each day. There will be this will be so much more interactive than last time because we've kind of got a good feel of how it works. So every teacher will be live each day, unless of course they are out ill. Then they will have some recorded lessons, but you also see them regardless on there. I think last year, some of our Canvas pages if you didn't see the teacher's name, you wouldn't really know who it was. But this year, you're going to see the teacher's face and interacting with students every day, starting each time with the beginning of class. We'll be taking attendance each period. So if a student does not sign into Canvas during the class period, he or she will be marked absent. But if you do the work later, because we know that some kids, especially some of our older 8th graders, will be taking care of younger siblings, maybe you're helping them do school, they might do it later once their parents get home, and that's fine. And then once the student logs on and does the work later, we will then mark them present. We will not be marking tardies at all, and just want to make sure that you know that moving forward. So making sure that you're on there every day. Students should fully engage during the interactive live time and work time. We're encouraging each student to be part of the class and conversation, and we'll also be offering Zoom backgrounds for students to make them feel more comfortable about being on camera. I know that some Zoom meetings, I think we want to fade the background and turn our camera off, but I do think part of building a community is really making sure that we're online. And I know some people might think, I don't want kids to see my rooms. That's why we're going to be giving them some cool West Lane backgrounds and sending those out to each of their teachers for their Canvas pages to put on there if they want to use them, or they can make their own background as long as they're school appropriate. I always like I really like the Purdue backgrounds myself, but I know that's not really popular with some of the teachers I have here, but that's something that we can do going forward. I do want to say that work during virtual learning will be graded and taken for a grade. So this is very different from last spring as well. We do expect the students to do very well and to do all the work, but their report card grade will reflect the work that they've done through the virtual time that we're doing it now. And so that means when assignments are given and assessments are given, those will count on your grades, and those will impact GPA. They'll impact your long-term report card, and everything will be counted for a grade. I know that last spring we were kind of in a mode of, does it count, doesn't it count? But we want to make sure that you guys know that everything does count for this start of school, and as long as we're in the virtual learning environment. So right now I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to go into the chat and see what kind of questions are out there. Can you email a copy of the schedule to the listserv? Oh yes, I can do that again, absolutely. So someone asked about the Power Up Writing versus Reading this year. That's a class we added this year, but it should not be a 2-semester class. It should just be a 1-semester class. I can see about this. I'm looking at the individual parent. When will NWEA testing take place? We may have that on a virtual level and taking that in the fall, but you'll learn more about that later. We're trying to work with NWEA right now to see what that looks like on a virtual place. What do we do if we experience a power internet outage that prevents students from participating in the live? We do know that, and teachers are going to be recording one of their live lessons and being in there. And so we're going to go ahead and make sure that's on Canvas each day. The teachers are going to record their lesson, post it on YouTube, and then you'll be able to watch it later. But it'll be a link through, again, Canvas, so you don't have to ever guess about where you're going. It's always through Canvas. And one thing too is that we will be doing, we're saying it's 3 clicks. So when you get into Canvas, it's 3 clicks to get anywhere to get to your class. Link to virtual learning schedule. I know it is on our website, wl.msdwt.k12.in.us, and that schedule is on there, but I will send a lot more things out today. We are looking to use a parent portal, so really utilizing the website for new enrollees and outside visitors, but for you guys, really working a parent portal for all of you to be able to access everything you need. Does each parent need their own separate Canvas account? You do not. You can get on there as a group of parents, or I'm sorry, as a couple for mom and dad if they want to search it. But they can actually get on there. They don't need their own separate one. Log on information for Canvas. I will be sending out a Google Drive, a Google Doc again tonight that will allow you to enter if you need information for Canvas or for Skyward. How will students with 504s be given accommodations, for example, extra time? We're working on that right now with our special services coordinator, but we will know that especially for if a test is timed, then we would know we get extra time, but most of the time our assessments are not. Homework-wise, they get an extra class period for that. How does PE class work? Our PE teachers actually did a great job last spring of really coming up with some very interactive lessons, and so some of it will be health and some of it will be PE, and so they're going to do a good job of that on there to be kind of keep the kids active. How are we going to do band class? So if you're not in 6th grade, then we'll be doing band class kind of starting the year with musicality, playing our instruments virtually, maybe taking out a different, we taught the teachers today how to do breakout rooms, so they can actually do some, like maybe just the brass does work, maybe percussion does work. If you're 6th grade band members, we are going to have a instrument pickup if you're borrowing one from the school, and then we'll tell you about that though when it's going to come up, probably the 3rd week of school. Are we going to need to buy school supplies? I would say something to write with. Paper, calculator would be the most you would need right now. We are going to be sending out a supply list that's more when we come back in person. I also heard a question about choir. Choir is the same deal. We will be making those changes on that. Should anything be showing on the Canvas dashboard yet? No, but it should show tomorrow. You should go on tomorrow and look at your Canvas dashboard and be able to see the classes that you've taken. I've got a message or a comment here. Zoom fatigue is a real thing. Will students get any off time during classes? We did make 10-minute quote unquote passing periods for each student in between classes to kind of give teachers and students a little break to stretch, do what they need to do, get a snack, and then we gave the half-hour lunches. So yeah, I'm aware that Zoom fatigue and being online is a real thing, and I think that again we'll try to make the virtual activities at least as active as we can be. All right. Schedule changes. Do talk to your counselor about that, or again I will send, like when I send a Google Doc out, I might just do a whole big one about schedule changes as well and let everybody fill those out. I'm not certain when we can. We'll try to do as many schedule changes as we can, but for right now we're going to keep a lot of the classes unless we made some mistakes. This person is new to the district, and when we pick up devices tomorrow, we'll be able to log in and make sure that Canvas and Skyward is working. Absolutely, because actually the single sign-on for that will actually be what you're going to get on for Canvas as well, and for Skyward, or for Canvas and Skyward and your single sign-on, and it should work and get you right to Skyward and Canvas. And I would make sure those are working. Classes like art and robotics will be provided with kits or supply lists. Actually, it's not, but both art and robotics actually designed a lot of virtual lessons over the summer. And just in case we did have a virtual closure, I think last year they kind of came up with a good 6th grade as well, because everybody's taking that class. So again, I think paper right now would be the biggest thing. Paper is something to draw with. Will be the only thing required right now. We're not providing any kits or supply list for those classes, because right now we think we can do a lot of things without intricate kits and supply lists. All right, entering the campus tomorrow. As many of you know that have driven by West Lane, we will be, we've been under construction, but actually both entrances are open. You're going to enter the west entrance off Ditch, drive back around to door 7, which is back by the tennis courts, and pick up the Chromebook if you signed up for one. And then we will also have yearbooks for sale, though, for those of you who had ordered them or asked for one. We'll have yearbooks for sale at door 2. Will we need to use school computers if they already have one at home? Yeah, if you have one at home and it works well, you're good to go. Our Chromebooks will not have anything special that your current computers already have. If we don't have, like, again, the Chromebooks are nothing. They don't have any special browser or anything you need to do the access. Everything is online. So if you have an internet accessible computer, you're good and don't need a new one. All right, still going through questions at this time. You guys, a lot of good questions, but not as many as the last crew. All right, with all the changes to the 6th grade curriculum, how do we know if our child's schedule is correct? I would say that actually all of the 6th grade schedules are correct because of the fact that every 6th grader is taking the same class. Every 6th grader, so every 6th grader's schedule is correct. Actually, that was the one that ended up coming out the best. What about textbooks? Will they be provided through a Canvas if needed for class? We are currently in process of getting the electronic version. As you know, we start very early compared to what textbooks are used to. And so the online question is, we are working towards that to put them in Canvas, but we're still working towards that. And Mr. Bishop, I know that one of your fellow athletic directors is here, but we have a question about sports. And so I'm going to let you kind of touch base on that one.
All right. So at this time, our all sports teams in Washington Township are suspended at this time. We're hearing certain rumblings of talks from our school board, but at this time there is no sports for the fall. Hopefully that will change. We would love for that to change, but we cannot move until the school board changes some of their decisions on sports for the middle school and high school.
All right. Question is, if we had a computer from Willow Lake, can we use it? Absolutely. You don't have to return that to Willow Lake. We already know you have one. Now, I will say this: we're putting out each week technology lines. So if a computer doesn't work, you would call that, and then it's over at CEC if we have any issues with the computer itself. Okay. So if you have an old computer from a Chromebook from last year from Willow Lake, you may keep that. Will the teacher's name for each class be on the schedule in Canvas? Yes, it will. It'll go right to it. In fact, only the classes where your students have will go on to Canvas. Literature class, will they be provided with an actual text or expected to print out chapters, and how do mudding and other notations? All right, we've got a avid school-wide mom here asking that question. So I don't know how that works yet. And so we're still kind of in this planning stages of when we get to the reading part, on how that works. Where can we find out who is in our classes? I would say that's going to be a surprise to you when you come on Thursday, unless you're talking to your friends already. You'll see the group in there. When you get into Zoom, you will see some of your friends and classmates. And we talk about, too, how can parents help with relationship building and for new students and socialization. I believe that's going to be one of the things that we're going to be working on hard in our advisory classes, is to build that sense of community. So I would really encourage students, encourage you to encourage your students to really participate in those discussions and those get to know you activities, and just to really be open and honest. I know it may be awkward in a virtual piece right here, but I think, though, that it can be done. And I think that that's important. I think it's important to have that socialization and be able to participate. Let's see here. Will there be a back to school event? We will have the teachers film a video for each of you for virtual. We were going to do a virtual back to school event anyway, so it's going to be very similar to what we would have done anyway. How many students are in each sixth grade virtual classroom? Actually, it's the same. It would be in a physical classroom. We're looking anywhere from, some classes have 20 to 25 in there, but like there's maybe a few big band classes, but they'd be about the same size as a regular classroom. So they won't be as packed as this, but it will be a time for like, so we'll be able to get to know each other in there. Let's see. What do we need to do to sign up for band instruments yet? We haven't received your information. Miss May will be sending that out about that. We've not done any communication about orchestra or band. We just know that we will not need instruments for the first 7 to 10 days, and we will have an instrument pickup time. Let's see here. What are the class sizes for Zoom? About the same, anywhere from 20 to 25. Have we discussed what to do if there's disruptive behavior? We didn't actually talk about that today. It's a little easier in a virtual area to tamp down on the disruptive behavior on Zoom. Parent here says they appreciated this meeting, and we're happy to have you here at Wesleyan. We're new to the Washington Township, but we will, again, make everything correct. Oh, I have a question here about, is there any chance of an 8th grade DC trip before the end of school? That I can actually answer is that's a no. And I really feel bad about that, because we know we take our 7th grade camping trip and our 8th grade DC trip, and neither one of those can happen this year. If child prefers a physical book for some classes, will there be an option at some point? I can say, yeah, at some point. I think we're trying to do that. What training have the teachers received for virtual learning? That is something we've done today. We've done a lot of Zoom breakouts and different pieces about what's going to happen in the classroom, and how to get on Canvas, and just like really making it very accessible for the kids. Someone here is running, Mr. Bishop, you and I, to run for president in 2020. I don't know what would be tougher, running middle school or running the country, but I would, there are some middle schoolers in Washington I don't know if I could handle as well as your students, because your students are very respectful. So, yeah. Some classes are not on student schedules. Like, for instance, some PE, there were some times where we had to make a choice between some classes, and we did take those classes off, but we wanted to make sure their students got their first choice in music or something like that. So some of your schedules are not have everything on there, and some of your students have interventions or dueling musics, and so that would adjust those schedules. But again, I'll send out something. The minute this is over, I'm going to send out the video for everyone, and then also I will send out some of the Google Docs for people who want to make changes on some things for that. Any other questions? Typical class size, again, anywhere from 20 to 25. How long will virtual classes be offered? Right now, we would offer these until the board recommends us coming back in person. And so I don't have a date or time for that. I would encourage everybody, if they want to, just listen to our school board meetings every other Wednesday. So that's kind of like where we're at on that. What if you cannot locate your schedule? On Skyward, there should be on the tab on the side over here, just a schedule tab, and you should click on that and it will give your schedule out for the entire year. Someone previously asked about a 504 accommodation. Do I need to speak to a counselor to complete this year's 504? Not right now. If we have it already in place, we'll be telling that to the teachers themselves. How do you watch school board meetings? If you go to the Washington Township link, so if you go to Washington Township homepage and go under school boards, it has a list of all their Zoom meetings all the way scheduled out for, I think you can schedule out up to 6 weeks. So you can see those on there. And actually you can watch old ones too, if you're so inclined. All right, I'm going to stop recording and I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. Again, this was fun. I think we're going to look at maybe doing this more often, just some parent contact nights, and we'll get the numbers over 100 for that next one. So thanks everybody, and we will again see you later down the road and see all of your kids virtually on Thursday.